Well, to get more details on what Trump had to say, we go live now to Jeff Charles, contributor for conservative sites RedState.com and LibertyNation.com. Jeff, thank you very much for joining us on the program. So Trump has addressed CPAC every year since he became president, right? Nothing really out of the ordinary there, but this was his first speech since leaving office. So would you say he said anything surprising?
No, I mean, this was a very highly anticipated speech. I don't think that anything he said really shocked anyone. I mean, especially when he talked about not starting a third party. People close to him had already kind of indicated to the media that he wasn't going to do that. But I think nothing that Trump said was a surprise. It was all pretty much expected, with the exception of whether or not he would announce whether he's going to run or not. He kind of teased towards that direction, but he didn't full out say that he was running or not running. So I think he's keeping people on their toes. But yeah, overall, it was pretty much expected.
Well, let's focus a bit on what you said about Trump saying that there's not going to be a new party. It does still look, though, right, that there's an emerging split in the Republican Party between the old guard and Trump's supporters. Do you think that these two sides are going to reconcile, in your opinion?
No, I predicted before, even last year, that regardless of whether or not Trump won re-election, there is going to be a civil war on the right, and it is going to be between the establishment elites, like your Mitt Romneys, your Liz Cheneys, your Adam Kinzingers, and the more of the rank and file of people that follow Trump, or more of the more Trumpy lawmakers, like say Matt Gaetz, Josh Hawley, people like that. So yeah, I think that really made a third party unnecessary, because we already kind of have this split on the right anyway. And I think that while the two may not fully reconcile, I think it's going to create a brand new GOP, and it'll be interesting to see what that looks like.
Well, you mentioned earlier about how Trump had said he wasn't sure whether he's going to run in 2024 yet, but he did hint at that possibility. Do you, if he does end up wanting to run in 2024, do you think that the party would go for it?
I'm not sure. That's very hard to say. I've been thinking about that. I know that according to a poll today, that if the election were held today, he would still get the nomination. But 4 years is not a short amount of time. I think a lot can change between now and then. Maybe he'll decide that he doesn't want to run and that he'd rather support somebody to succeed him and maybe become more of the kingmaker role. But I do think that even if in 2024, if he does decide to run, he does stand a very good chance of securing the nomination, as long as he still has the same energy that he has today.
So say he does get the nomination. Do you think this would be something that would unite these two perhaps rival factions, you could say, in the Republican Party, or would it be more divisive?
I think it really depends on how this conflict between the establishment and non-establishment goes. I mean, that's going to shake up the whole political landscape on the right. It could have either effect depending on who emerges victorious. I mean, if the establishment still has its position and still holds sway, it's going to divide things more. If the more populist wing or the more conservative wing ends up on top, then there could be more of a reconciliation.
Jeff Charles, contributor for RedState.com and LibertyNation.com. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.